time for answering the question has expired. Senator Lindgren. Senator Lindgren.
Mr President, my question is to the Minister for Employment, Senator Cash. Will the Minister please inform the Senate how jobactive is helping more Australians move from welfare into work?
The Minister for Employment, Senator Cash.
Thank you, Mr President, and I thank Senator Lindgren for the question. Mr President, those of us on this side of the chamber believe that the best form of welfare is a job, and that is why everything that this government does is motivated by our commitment to see higher growth, because higher growth means more jobs. Indeed, since forming government, there have been over 300,000 jobs created on our watch. Mr President, in order to help Australians move from welfare into work, and really, Senator Carr, you do not want me to start on your history in relation to manufacturing, because it is under you, Senator Carr, that the manufacturing industry in Australia was destroyed. It was under you, Senator Carr, that whilst there was growth in other industries, in the manufacturing industry under you, jobs were lost. You personally, your legacy to the Australian people, is job losses. So you can come into this chamber and you can scream.
Order, Minister. Order. Senator Back and Senator Wong. Senator Carr, I'm going to ask you to cease interjecting. You've been continually interjecting throughout the minister's answer. And, Minister, could I ask you not to direct your comments across the chamber but to the chair? Minister, you have the call.
Thank you, Mr President, but I have to say, when Senator Carr yells out interjections like that, when he is the minister or was the minister in this place, that under his watch employment in manufacturing in Australia fell by 127,600, or by 12.1%. I believe that as part of a government that is committed to growing jobs in this country, I have an obligation to correct the record, Mr President, and that is why we have invested as a government $6.8 billion in the jobactive program, which commenced on the 1st of July this year. We currently have 66 jobactive providers delivering services in over 2,000 locations and servicing a caseload of approximately 758,000 people. This is a government that, unlike Senator Carr, is focused on job creation.
The question has expired. Senator Lindgren, supplementary question. Senator Cameron. Senator Lindgren.
Thank you, Mr President. Is the minister aware of any evaluations which highlight the benefits to job seekers of Work for the Dole, a key component of the jobactive program?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President, and yes, I am. Work for the Dole is, of course, the centrepiece of the new mutual obligation arrangements that form part of the government's jobactive program. My department has carried out an evaluation of Work for the Dole participants who are undertaking the pilot programs. Some of the results of this evaluation have been recently released, and they showed 78% of participants said they had the opportunity to learn new skills. 79% agreed that routine in getting up every day and going to work was actually good for them. 81% of participants said that they were treated like a valuable member of staff. Participants also said that they had learned or developed soft skills such as confidence, self-esteem, teamwork, communication and improved workplace behaviour. Mr President, Work for the Dole recognises the principle that unemployed people should be working, preferably for a wage, but if not, then for the dole. And it is the people who have participated in this program who have strongly endorsed it.
The question has expired. Final supplementary question. Senator Lindgren.
Thank you. Can the minister inform the Senate how jobactive compares to previous programs and whether improvements have been made?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. On this side of the chamber, we very much want to see outcome-driven job services programs. And that is why, under the jobactive model that we have brought in, there has been a fundamental change in the funding model. Under the former government's Job Services Australia model, 2/3 of the service provider fees were geared towards service delivery. Under the jobactive program, payments to employment providers are focused on payments for actual employment outcomes. Additionally, funding for providers is focused on making individuals job ready rather than putting them into training for training's sake. Under the former government's Job Services Australia program, putting somebody in another training program just for the sake of training them was actually considered an outcome, in the same way as getting them employment was. Under this government, what we want to see is actual outcomes realised by way of a job,
Thank
and that
you,
is what
Minister. The
our
time for
program
answering the
is
questions
focused on.
expired. Senator Brandis.